All right, how's everyone doing? Still with me? Okay, cool. Ooh, we got a lot more in the audience. You probably know who's coming next, huh? Do you guys know who's coming up next? Who? Who? You don't know. Who? Who? Sandy. Some of you might be like, who is Sandy? Well, let me tell you. Sandy Munro is an automotive engineer who specializes in machine tools and manufacturing. He's worked as a tool maker that supplied to GM, and he worked for Ford improving methods of engine assembly, all before starting his own company, which I'm sure you guys are all aware of, Munro Associates. And they specialize in lean design and tearing down automotive products to suggest improvements and innovation. This guy is brilliant. Most recently, he's torn down some of the hottest EVs, and I'm sure you guys have all seen that. He's also had the opportunity to sit down with the man, the myth, the legend, Elon Musk. Please make some noise for Sandy Munro. Time.
Thank you.
Welcome to California.
It's nice to be here. We got a chance to drive all the way from San Francisco, so you know what? I saw a lot of California so far.
Yes, and I'm sure you saw a lot of Teslas.
And I did. There was a ton of Teslas on the expressway the whole way we were coming up, and there seems to be quite a few of them here as well. I don't know. Does anybody notice that? Anybody?
Or what kind of event are we at? A Tesla event?
Something to do with Tesla, yeah.
So, Sandy, you are, I'm sure many know you as the guy who takes things apart. They take apart cars. You've got a lot of experience doing so. But I wanted to start with that, right? When you get vehicles in and you take them apart, what are you and your team looking for? Like, what's that process look like? What are you taking apart? Is there a list that you go through? What is that?
Okay, so the process that we go through when we disassemble a vehicle. I don't think I need a hat. It's going to blow away anyway. Thank you. Anyway, it's really windy up here, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like a cyclone. Anyhow, so we call it inside out. So what happens is we usually remove the interior first. And the main reason is because we want to get at what's really counting, and that's truly going to be things like the structure, the basic materials that are being used, and things like that. So one team will take away the seats, the instrument panel, the console, carpets, and they'll start analyzing and costing those. And what we do is we analyze everything. Every nut, every bolt, everything goes into our software, and then we cost everything so that we know exactly how much it costs. And then we also do something called the cost of quality or the quality report card. And what we do there is we find out where people have made mistakes in the way they process the product or the materials that they've used and things like that. When we get into the interior out, now what we'll do is we'll drop the powertrain. So as a rule, usually batteries come out first. Then we'll bring out the drive motors and the harnesses and things like that. And then there's a specialized team that goes into, some guys are doing the gearboxes, some guys are doing the electric motors, some guys are doing harnesses, and then we've got another group that work on the. We got another group that works on the batteries themselves. It's a special group.
Got it. So when you're taking apart everything, it's quite crazy. If you haven't seen, you should definitely check out Monroe Live on YouTube and watch these take aparts. What are you and your team looking for as you take apart those things? I know you mentioned, the cost of parts and whether the manufacturer has priced accordingly or it makes sense, and the quality of the material, but what else are you looking for?
We're looking for innovation. So as you may know, when I first saw the Model 3, I didn't see any innovation from the outside. Nothing. I saw bad paint. I saw bad gaps. I saw sloppy workmanship, things that didn't work. Once we got the interior out, and once we started dropping the battery and whatnot, now we were starting to look at the and that's the other thing we do is electronics, of course. once we saw the electronics, and the electronics are like out of this world, that's the innovation that we really, that's what we sell these reports, and that's what our subscribers really want to see. They want to know what's going on inside. How does Tesla do what it does? And it's really simple. They use, there's this big thing you heard about chips. Anybody heard about just, yeah. Anyway, these aren't potato chips. These are electronic chips, and they can't get them. Like, it's those bastards in China won't give them to us. No, they won't, because they don't make any money on them anymore. These things are from the 50s and 60s. These are the oldest chips on the planet. And when a chip goes, there's a chip graveyard. It's called Indonesia and Malaysia. And they ship the old machines there. Well, not even those guys want to make those old-fashioned chips because they can't make any money at them. There's too much silicon inside, and there's not enough profit. The cheapskates don't. And besides that, when you start looking at volume for circuit boards and stuff like that, look at your cell phone. There's volume. I mean, they make millions of those a day. Nobody makes millions of cars a day. So low volume, old-fashioned designs, that's what's killing the most of the car industry. They can't get these old-fashioned chips. So when we tore apart the Tesla, what we found was everything there looked as modern as tomorrow. This was we do a lot of automotive, but we also do a lot of other things. So TV sets, cell phones, medical devices, and we also have a defense department, and we're always looking for the type of innovations that step change from wherever the industry are that we're analyzing. And so what we did was, when we saw this is as modern as anything. The Department of Defense doesn't have stuff in some cases as modern as what is inside of an ADAS system, let's say for the Model Y, which we just kind of worked on.
You brought up that kind of change, and I think it's really good to kind of see it from your perspective, because you have been in the automotive industry for so long. You've seen the inside and how a gas vehicle is built, and then now all the way to the most modern EV vehicles, how they're built. What would you say is like the biggest manufacturing feature advantage for EVs versus gas vehicles that you've seen? The biggest enhancement.
Just for EVs?
Yeah.
Well, when I was in the tent there, somebody said, are you happy to see me, or is that a battery in your pocket? Let me show you.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so I wasn't going to pull this out. I shouldn't have stopped right there, I guess.
Yeah, he pulled it out.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the first one. This is the first one out of the pack, and we've named it Elania. And we're actually I have a niece who's a grandniece who's got cancer. She's 7 years old. So what we're going to do is we're gonna kind of put this out on the market and see what we can do to help her with her GoFundMe page. So, but this to me is the biggest advancement, because it's half the weight, a third of the weight, almost double the power. This basically is going to put everybody at the sidelines. So for me, this is the biggest technology for high-powered cars. Now, from an energy standpoint, yeah, there's other things that can give you as much energy, but if you want it right now, this is the way to do it. Now, okay, I said that, but then there's other technologies that are coming down the pike that will also be driving the future. And so you probably heard of LFP, and that's lithium iron phosphate. Oh, and by the way, the F stands for ferrous, but nobody knows what the hell ferrous is. It's iron, so that's why they changed it to lithium iron phosphate. But anyway, that's going to be great for the low-cost car that people don't want to go fast in. That's the perfect car for you. and that's going to be second. And of course, Elon's already bringing that stuff in. He's putting it into Model 3s. People are pretty happy with it. If you don't want to go like a rocket ship, bingo, there you are. And that'll get us to where I want Tesla to be, and that's I need a car that's under 25 grand. And when I see that, then I'll park that one up there as an innovative step change that hopefully Tesla will park out pretty soon.
Yeah, and the journey that you're seeing, the path that they're on, you see that happening for sure.
I the man who can predict whatever Elon Musk is going to do next is far superior to the man sitting in his chair. That's for sure. No, I'm really hoping that he does. For those of you who watch my channel, you know that on Friday or something, I don't know, last week sometime anyway, I started tearing apart a Chevy Bolt. I don't want any tomatoes. No, no eggs or tomatoes can be thrown. Anyway, we got a hold of a Chevy Bolt, and I was horrified because it could be appealing. Now, I don't want to give things away, but we went in and did a much deeper survey on that car. We're not allowed to tear it apart. We can lift covers a little bit and stuff like that, but we can't tear it to pieces because it wasn't ours. And we don't accept gifts from anybody. Not Tesla, not Ford, not GM, not BMW, nothing. They want to let us ride them around, okay, fine, but no, we don't want anything to glue our name to their name. So at the end of the day, we took this thing up. We didn't take it apart. We took it out and drove it around, and my wife and I had it for the weekend, and my wife liked it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That doesn't happen very often. My wife is a very critical PhD engineer. I barely squeak under the engineering, bar. I'm not very good at the technical stuff. She's got a PhD. But I'm telling you what, if she liked it, then it must be semi-good.
What do you think was the one thing that kind of really convinced her to like it that much?
It's she was looking at it from a transition car, somebody who's been used to driving a Chevy or a Ford or something like that, and now is thinking about getting into the EV world. And when you get in, you know, it's got some of the Tesla stuff. It has welcoming notes and stuff like that, and it lights up, and it has both buttons and sliders. It has both buttons in the screen, so everything's double redundancy. So that basically makes it easy for people. And then she tried the accelerator, and it popped up in the air and squealed the tires, and she turned around and she said, "This may have legs." Yeah, so
That's awesome.
so that's about the highest. And actually, you'll see it maybe next Friday or the week after, and that's the wrap-up video. And Sue and I are going to be talking about it, and you'll see me hesitantly saying that this is a pretty good car. But
So going back to like the Model 3, I mean, I think, I was going to say, how impressed are you? And I think you kind of covered that on what you thought about the Model 3 from an exterior to an interior to under the hood. It sounds like Tesla really focused on under the hood, the stuff that the consumer can't see. And so for many of us that don't have that under the hood, the engineering, mindset, they were quick to complain about paint and things like that. What have you seen? Because now you've done the Model Y and you've done the Model S. What have you seen advance in Tesla's, style and what they've been putting in and what they've been doing change from 3 all the way up to, say, the latest S?
Okay, so when we saw the Model 3, I likened it to an old-fashioned Kia. But you know what? Kia's a red-hot car now. Kia and Hyundai are the same car company. And it's a red-hot car now. And they make a lot of money. They sell a lot of product. And why is that? Well, because they took the criticism and they turned it around. And now they've got a very, very good car. Tesla, Elon Musk told me in person that he accepted that some of the stuff was wrong, and he made a commitment on our YouTube channel that he was going to make it better, and he did. So what we have in our facility is a BMW with a Tesla badge on it. That's what it is. It is a perfect build. We have no trouble with any of the componentry that's inside. It's right first time. And then underneath the skin, you're looking at this absolutely brilliant electronic architecture, electrical architecture, software to die for, ADAS that's 10 years ahead of everybody else, on and on and on. So I believe that for me, counting all cars, not just EVs, the Tesla Model Y that we have in our facility is technologically the most advanced. From a build standpoint, I'll put it up against anything or anybody.
Wow.
And from a feature content standpoint, you all know you have them. So as far as I'm concerned, the Model Y is the best car on the marketplace for the general population. If I probably do have the money, but I'm just such a cheapskate. If I wasn't such a cheapskate, I'd be in a Model Y, or sorry, in a Model X. I love that car. I absolutely love it.
Now, just touching on that, on cost of vehicles, because I think this is important, and maybe nobody thinks about this, but it definitely popped into my head, and I said, I got to ask Sandy this when I see him, is these vehicles that you're taking apart, you touched on this earlier, they're not given to you. That means Munro Associates is
Buying them.
Yeah, so you're buying these cars, taking them apart, and if you're pulling batteries out, means can't go back together, correct?
Right.
So
yeah, nothing goes back together. Sometimes we'll sell bits and pieces. Some people have bought the rotors. That rotor that came out of the Plaid, that's like, those laminates are like nothing we ever saw before. Nobody's got anything like that. Nobody. And I've had a whole bunch of people telling me that, this won't work. And I read these things and I go, what do you mean it won't work? I just drove the son of a gun. How do you mean it don't work? So that's truly where things, as far as I'm concerned, that's truly where Tesla is. They're always going to be leading because they don't have. Okay, so I spent a lot of time in Japan. And in Japan, there's a term that I just forgot the name. But anyways, it means happy talk. Happy talk means where everybody, oh yeah, nice tie. Oh, isn't it a great day? Oh, we make great cars and trucks, blah, 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 blah. That's happy talk. And at Tesla, I don't see that. I see people going up and saying, I think we can do that better. Why don't we do that better? We should do that better.
Right,
that's the difference.
Right. Now, you made the statement that the Model Y is the best, but if I were to kind of still ask you, what else more can Tesla streamline and do better that's still on the radar that you'd like to see going forward, like with Cybertruck and future vehicles?
Well, we have 5 Cybertrucks on order. I know at least one of them is going to wind up in my garage, or not my garage. Okay. It's too big to put in my garage. But it'll wind up at my house. One will be torn apart. One's going to be static, and the other 2 have already been spoken for by other guys at the company. I think that the Cybertruck is going to be revolutionary for those people who want to go camping, who want to have an adventure vehicle, and that to me is an adventure vehicle. I think there's a lot of room for. So I tore the 150 to pieces. Even though you don't know it yet, we've torn it apart a lot. And that truck, I bought one for our company. So I ditched our diesel. We had a 2500 Ram. I've sold that, and I have the Lightning. And it is our current workhorse. And I'm telling you what, we absolutely love it. So that's one. And then you got Rivian. And I have one of those currently. My wife loves it. It's the perfect utility truck. It does everything that I want it to do as soon as I want it to do it, but there's still something missing, and that's the truck for me. I go hunting. I like to be outdoors. I want to have a truck that's going to be off-road and dependable, and that's what I've got. And I want something I can sleep in and not freeze to death in. So if you guys go hunting, or anybody in the audience that goes hunting knows it gets damn cold if you're going to be trying to chase down a deer. So you have to get up at the crack of dawn, and you can either have the option of sitting in your truck or like a nice Cybertruck and keeping warm, or you can walk 2 miles in freezing cold weather and probably snow and in the dark. And it's not as appealing as, I think I'll shoot a deer today and put on a jacket and walk outside. I mean, I like that idea a whole lot better.
What are you most excited about taking apart on the Cybertruck and seeing?
I want to see everything. I want to see how they did the body. I'm interested in, I know that they're going to be 4680s in that car, or that truck for sure. I want to see everything. And I want to see if they've done, okay, so I know, but they haven't shown me yet. I know that that Tesla has a change to their motors. Instead of using a wound motor, they have hairpins. And hairpin motor was invented by General Motors actually during the EV1 days, and was abandoned. They just let it go. And now I heard it on relatively from Tesla people that there is a hairpin motor, and it's in. They're testing it out in China right now. And the reason for that is because, why are they going to the hairpin motor? Well, because it's cheaper to manufacture, and you get more out of it. Because instead of having little round things, I got square things, and square things fit into square holes a lot easier. So, and it's much, much faster from a welding standpoint to just put the hairpins down and then welding basically a track, if you like, all the way around the outside, so that the stator has stator has the power to make the magnets go around in a circle.
Yeah. So with all that said, we talked a lot about Tesla. We talked a lot about everything. Who else is on your EV radar? I think you mentioned a couple brands, but like, who else is really kind of really impressing you from based on what you've seen on take-aparts that you're like, okay, they're on my radar. That's like the number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah.
Well, number 2, as far as I'm concerned right now, is Rivian, but it's a difficult car to build. In just for honesty's sake here, they've just given us a contract to try and figure out how to get rid of the build issues that they've got. So the car is great, but you can't build it fast enough. So that's what we do for a living. So they've given us a contract, and we're going to be working on that. Okay,
That's
so
awesome.
that's my second choice, and it was my second choice. My third choice is Ford, because Ford has got so many cars that are like within spitting distance of success. The Lightning, definitely. I mean, when somebody comes along and says, well, we're going to have to build 250,000 of these things next year, and the plant's only good for 150,000, then I guess there's some popular opinion there. And then after that, it all falls. Oh, and the other one, Aptera. Oh, I love that car. There's somebody in the back that loves it too.
Yep.
Anyway, if I was living in California, I'd have an Aptera. It's going to be 1,000 miles. I'll never have to charge the damn thing. It's got solar panels. So a long time ago, there was this guy that invented a paint that was like a solar, I want to use the word solar panel, but it's the only thing I can think of right now. It was, what do you call that? Photovoltaic. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Your hat is in the mail. So, yeah. So photovoltaic paint, and this stuff was really marvelous. I was really excited, but unfortunately, with a lot of people who are really in a genius category, he was always depressed, and he wound up committing suicide, and nobody knows how he did this stuff. So, but that would be a game changer for Tesla, for everybody. Nobody would be, no one would paint their cars with anything else but that stuff nowadays.
Yeah, totally. So I think it's an exciting time. There's a lot of great cars. You heard from Sandy, some little tidbits, some Easter eggs of things to look forward to on Sandy's channel. Sandy, thank you so much for coming here. We're so honored to have you at the Tesla Takeover, sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and everything that you've done for the community and for the space. Thank you so much.
Raj, thank you, and thank you all for coming. And this is probably, these kinds of events are the biggest honor that an engineer could possibly have. I can't begin to tell you how incredibly embarrassed I was when Jim Farley, the president and CEO of Ford Motor Company, got on and gave me, I mean, more praise than I knew what to do with. I can't believe I'm here. I used to pick tomatoes for a living. It's amazing. I love this country.
Absolutely. Totally. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raj.